Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Gemini in March 2019. Hello, Gemini. How are you guys doing? Doing good? I hope so. I hope everything in your life is going well, guys. Gemini, shuffled off camera, so that's your main spread there. I'll shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all cards are out and they're lying face up, that is when the reading begins. You will find the timestamp for that in the description box below if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. Readings are $25. The steps are pretty simple, but if you do have any questions, just use that email that's down there as well. Shoot me an email, I'll answer your question, and then we can hook something up as in terms of getting a personal reading done for you, okay? Anything else? Nope. It's all business this month, okay? All right, guys, let's get your outcome and overall energy, okay? Outcome and overall for Gemini in March 2019, please. Come on, this is hard. Ooh, okay, wow. A lot flipped over. What do we want to do with this? How am I doing this? I'm not looking at them, I'm feeling this then. You want me to choose in this? Wow, and this is weird. I've never done this. So consider yourself special? Lucky? I don't know. But which one? I'm not looking. My eyes are totally closed. It's not that one. This one. Alright. So there you go. That's your bottom of the, that's your bottom of the deck. That's your overall. My God, that's not your overall. That's your outcome. The bottom of the deck here, that's your overall. That was weird. I wish I could describe my process to people. Like, it makes so much sense to me, but that was really weird. Like, why I did it that way, and ugh, whatever. Let's flip the remainder of your cards, Gemini, and let's see what's going on, okay? Oh my God. Oh my God. You have a heavy reading. Boy, oh boy. All right. Please show me Gemini in March 2019. Please show me where Gemini is in March 2019. Please show me Gemini in March. Please show me. Okay. All right, March, excuse me. All right, Gem, you're coming into March with the Tower card. My gosh, guys, get ready. Strap yourselves in, okay? You guys are coming in hot and heavy. Bumpy ride. My gosh. Disruption, destruction, absolute upheaval. A lot of things going topsy-turvy for you guys in March, okay? The Tower card, as destructive as it looks, is not so destructive in the sense of it's for, you know, nothing in tarot is as dark or twisted and or evil as your mom or your grandmom ever told you it was. You know, there's no actual demonic, well, I won't say that, but at least for my readings, and I think most readers that you'll find on YouTube or that you will encounter in your life are not here on a quest or sent by the powers of evil or sent by negative forces or are being influenced by negative forces. I feel negative forces run parallel to positive, or, you know, if you want to think that light forces, but they're not, the strength of them is totally outweighed by the strength of the good, or the strength and the influence of the light forces. And so this reading, I'm telling you right now, looking at it overall, and what, as I flip them out, the energy is, there's a revelation of multiple layers of crap and not so nice energies or people or circumstances and details that will be revealed to you. But the caveat here, the takeaway here from the top, Gemini, is that nothing that will befall you that is feeling as if it's turning your world upside down and pulling the rug from underneath you, none of that is meant to harm you, okay? It might feel like it. In the meantime, it's going to feel like that for some of you for a while, but in the long run, in the cosmic macrocosm that exists outside of, you know, this earthly existence that we call, you know, life here on Earth, it's not. And you might not believe in that, you might not subscribe to that, but that is what they're telling me. And that's kind of how I am as a reader. You know, the day-to-day stuff is going to be painful. It's going to not feel fantastic, but in the grand scheme of things, everything is happening for a reason. Okay, that was a little bit of an aside. That was a little bit of a, like, somebody needs to be sort of treated with kid gloves right now, because this is rough energy coming in with the Tower. Disruption to your life, like I said, destruction, sudden changes, sudden upheavals, and just like an ejection. I feel an ejection, like an ejector seat, you know, like they sometimes show in the movies and definitely are equipped on, you know, fighter jets and things like that, is this sudden burst out of, or burst from, or thrust, or push, and it's just quick. And you might not be expecting it, someone else might not be expecting it. And in this card, we see two people being tossed out of that tower as it's being struck by lightning and set ablaze, okay? So you and possibly one other person or a few other people are going to be feeling this heat. You're going to be feeling this sudden ejection, this sudden change, this sudden swoop in, and takeover is another word I'm getting. It's just like, bang, it's done. So fast, it's done. And maybe that's also something for you guys. For some of you, maybe something is finished so quickly. You weren't anticipating an ending. You weren't anticipating things being sort of open and closed, or open and shut quickly. You know, you thought something was going to go one way. You thought you had more time, and then suddenly, no time at all. It's cut short. And gosh, if you are just not prepared, you do not like it. I don't think any of you are going to like it. If you do like it, it's more of like you accept it quickly, or you accept that this disruption, like, to offset how unprepared you were, or to offset how impactful it is for you, many of you are going to try and get ahead of whatever fallout is happening here. So maybe some of you get a hint, maybe some of you get a clue or an intuition about, oh my God, this thing is about to blow. Let me prepare myself. So some of you might have that inclination. You might, you know, be channeling something, or, you know, you have an empathic hit and you're like, oh my God, I better get my ducks in a row here because this business is about to fall apart, or this relationship is about to fall apart. But for most of you, you're not prepared. You don't know. You didn't expect that this was going to happen, but it's coming to you. It's coming to you. And it makes sense that it comes to you. You know, here we go. I'm getting into it. As much as you're unprepared for this, as much as you're shocked by this, as much as you are just like, oh my God, how could this have happened? All the signs were pointing to this was going to happen, Gemini. I'm telling you. You can't have all of this going on around you and not be prepared. You tried your best, but I think your best was not good enough, if I'm honest. You know, what this involves: a lot of disheartened feelings, a lot of mischievous energy, a lot of different ill proportions is what I'm getting. You know, it's, oh God. Yeah, man. All of the signs were there that this was going to happen. But I think you tried nobly, for the most part. You nobly tried to keep it together. You nobly tried to make it work or to find a solution. Magician right above, right? So this was you at some point, and it might still be you as the fallout hits, as the first lightning strikes and the first fires begin to rise up. You still might be in this magician energy, and the magician can be a beneficial energy, can be sort of mischievous or not use his powers for good. And that's not what I'm saying, Gemini. I think that many of you believe and many of you tried to use your powers and your will and your energies for good. But I think, like, what did I say? Misproportion or disproportions, ill proportions, something like that. The proportions were off because the magician is someone who has the ability, has the capability, has all the tools at his or her disposal. The knight, the wands, the swords, the pentacles, the cups. Okay, those are all the elements that are available to the magician within the tarot. And depending on how much of the cups you use, how much of the swords, how much of the wands, and how much of the pentacles, you might get a favorable outcome. But there is something that you did or did not do that equals ill proportion. Too much of something, too little of something was what you presented, was what you gave out, and therefore the mix just was off. Okay, I often will use an analogy with the magician as being a chef or a baker or someone in the kitchen, and he's meant to follow a recipe, and instead of 3 cups of flour, he puts in 4 cups. Instead of granulated sugar, he uses powdered sugar, something like that, where you didn't utilize your skills, your know-how, or you didn't take certain opportunities up, or you took advantage in opportunities, whatever it is, something in the recipe was not followed, something in the mix is off, and therefore what you get is a flat cake, or a cake that is too rich, or a cake that is too dry, something like that. And the thing about that is, the reason that can happen with the magician is because the magician has this knowledge. I am a chef. I am a baker. I am an almighty being. I have certain control. I have certain sway. I have certain persuasion or ability in this relationship, in this business, in this realm, whatever we're talking about, right? So the magician can often get ahead of himself or become cocky. And I'm not trying to insult you. I'm not trying to say that you're an egotist or anything like that, but some of you have done that. You were not as balanced as you needed to be. There's an infinity symbol on that cap, right? The infinity symbol is about balance and maintaining that throughout the motion across the infinity symbol. Never allowing the line to break. Never going too fast, which would, cause disruption, and never going so slow as in to never make progress. It's a constant, steady pace. It's a constant, steady rhythm. And there was something about lacking that balance, lacking that perspective, lacking that measurement, or that self-contained methodology, so is what they're telling me. You just missed it. And the problem here is you thought you had it, but you didn't. You didn't. Why you didn't, I don't know. It could have been cockiness. It could have been overconfidence. You could have been misinformed, some of you, Some of you may have been following someone else's recipe instead of following sort of your own recipe, kind of your own guidance in the kitchen, so to speak. So there are many factors as to why your plan or your execution of your plan or your enacting of a plan or the actions you took or the actions that you didn't take, whatever. There will be multiple factors of why it didn't really work out the way that you wanted it to and how it led to the Tower moment, which is, again, your starting position. On either, and this is like everything that's around, everything folds into everything here. All of your cards influence each other. That's what they're letting me know also. So everything that touches the Tower has a hand in it. Everything that touches the Devil is going to have a hand in it. Everything touches everything here. And maybe that's it. Too many cooks. Not only is it a creepy internet thing that was around like 2 or 3 years ago, too many cooks. Okay. not only is it that, like that literally is a thing, right? Too many cooks in the kitchen, or however that saying goes. So there might have been too much influence or too much input in a situation, and there should have just been your input and someone else's, or you took too much advice, you became confused, people started to influence you, people started to try to persuade you, or you cared too much about other people's opinions and their perspectives instead of making an executive decision on your own and standing in your own position. Because that's the other thing. The magician, self-made. Not self-made, I shouldn't say self-made. Self-affirmed, right? I believe with these tools, I can do whatever I want. The magician doesn't consult. The magician doesn't phone a friend and say, hey, what do you think I should do with my wand's energy? Do you think I should put it here or here or here or here? And he doesn't care about anybody's feedback. He really acts on his, like I said, his own recipe. So some of you cared too much about what other people thought, what they felt, what they contributed to a situation, what they could contribute, and it was just like too many cooks, okay? Now, disaster. Talk about it. Disaster, yeah. So on either side, I think what you're having is misappropriation of your energy, misappropriation of your attention to a situation, to the details, to a relationship, yeah? Yes. So, So on either side, it's going to go in many different ways. Either side of the central starting position where you are with the Tower and the Magician, you have the Three of Swords on one side, right? So heartache, heartbreak, cheating, third party situation. That could be true. I don't want to say it frivolously as if I'm trying to dismiss it, but those are just like the quick fire things that we know of the Three of Swords, right? And deception is also here too. What I'm getting though is that there's a pain, there's a distraught energy from you, from another person, from the entirety of the circumstances at hand, whatever. There's just this dire need to pay attention to the pain that's there, to the disruption that's there, to the consequences, to the repercussions, to the manipulation that's there. There's this thing. Thank you. I was like, why am I talking about that? You see what this is? It's a heart, and it's being stabbed by these three swords. But what's on top of it? Like some caramel glaze, some type of frosting, right? So there is a pain. There is something that is terrible, that is hurtful, that someone has tried to glaze over, gloss over. Let's patch this up. Some piss poor patchwork on something that is incredibly disruptive, incredibly painful, incredibly hard to face. And this is not a critique. It's not to say, put on your big girl panties or your big boy pants and I'm not. That is easy to say as someone from the outside. So I'm not trying to undermine your position or someone else's position here. But that is the fact, is that something was so hurtful or something is just not right in the sauce, and someone acts as if, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Someone is declaring something is fine. Everything is okay. And I'm letting you know that is bullshit. And you know it's bullshit. I don't know who I'm channeling for. I could be channeling for your guides. I could be channeling for yourself or someone close to you. But someone wants you to know, Gemini, that's bullshit, and you know it's bullshit. And they have words. Whoever this is that I'm channeling for, they have words. They have opinions. Okay? Could be a close friend of yours. Could be a relative of yours. Your partner, business partner. Could be, if this is business, this could be like your clients. It could be anybody. But somebody knows this was not, there's nothing to, like, how could you try to gloss over this? That heart is stabbed 3 times. You're trying to put, like, a tasty glaze on top? You're trying to pretend like this doesn't hurt? So there's something there, and that's doubled down, or at least, not doubled down, but the energy is reflected in this Hermit that's reversed. I'll show you this in the upright so you can become used to it. This is the Happy Tarot deck, if you're wondering. Hermit card, card of Virgo in reverse. So there might be a Virgo close to you or who is significant in this situation somehow, but it does not have to be. But let me tell you, Hermit in reverse, my God, ignorance, playing the fool, playing dumb, ignoring what needs to be addressed, ignoring what needs to be brought to light, okay? Because when he's in the upright, okay, when he's doing his job, when he's doing what he's meant to do, the Hermit card, he is seeking out the pain and the discomfort and the things that we don't want to talk about because he's meant to heal them. He's meant to shed light on those things that we push to the back of our mind, that we suppress inside of us, that cause us residual pain. He goes to dig that shit up so that you can get over it. But if you put him in the reverse, or he comes into your life and he's in the reverse, or you welcome this energy in somehow, this could be an external person. This could be a yes man around you. Am I making a good decision here, Bob? Should I invest in this company? Oh yeah, it's the best idea. You should, no. This person external to you, or this energy internal in you, however it resonates, in the reverse is not doing the job correctly. Okay? This energy is supposed to highlight where the problem areas are. It's like an inspector, like a building inspector, right? Coming in to do an evaluation of your home or your business or whatever. And if he goes in there and he checks all his boxes and walks out and says, yep, everything's fine, that's a lie. That's a lie and a half, okay? Because even if everything is, quote unquote, fine, there are potentialities. So this person would look, okay, well, it's not a problem now, but in the future, you might want to check out this crack over here, or there's a little bit of a lean in this post, and that is, you know, a weight-bearing wall, so you might want to check that out. Even if you get a clean bill of health or a clean checkout by this inspector, and this might literally be who I'm talking about, a building inspector, or a landlord of some sort, someone who has some hand in a physical building somewhere that you have a stake in, right? Even if they check all the boxes and they say everything is great, no, there's always like a yellow flag. Maybe not a red flag, maybe not an immediate emergency, but there will be something that, okay, well, within a year, I think you should check on this. It's fine now, it's up to code now, but because of wear and tear, because of weather patterns, blah, 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 this will be an issue later down the road. But because it's in the reverse, this person just said, no, it's all okay. Let's move forward. Let's not dig deep here. Let's not concern ourselves with something that's not an issue yet. Let's not go there. That's not the best use of this energy at all. It's just not. So you did this, someone did this, I don't know who, but damn it, it's wrong. Go, I'm fired up. I'm sorry. Sorry. But that's it. Because it's in relation to that three of swords. Okay, like I said, everything here touches everything. So here you are, magician, believing in your own bad recipe or following someone else's bad advice, whatever you're doing, right? You're touching that three of swords too. So maybe you glaze that over because of advice from this person. Maybe. Is this going to be a problem for me? Maybe you're asking. Is that going to be a problem? This guy down here. Oh no, it's not going to be a problem. It's fine. It's fine. So then you glaze the heart. You put the frosting on it. Now, how much blame do you, is yours there? A considerable amount. Because both you here in the Magician card and here in your starting position, you touch it, you're in touch with it, the same as the Hermit in reverse. So you co-signed on this person's bad advice or bad intel. Okay? Sorry. That's just the way it is. Maybe you're a victim in that. Maybe, they actively pulled the wool over your eyes. Maybe they told you lie after lie after lie, misled you all the time. But again, the magician, when he's correct, when he's in his highest vibration, so to speak, or his highest level and his highest attributes, he doesn't need advice. He doesn't ask. He is clear. He has it from above, right? He's led by his own intuition. That is what happened here. You did not lead yourself with your own intuition, okay? Man, that sucks. That really sucks. I'm sorry. And I'm agitated. Maybe I'm agitated for you. Maybe some of you are realizing this and you're feeling like a fool. You're feeling like someone, misled you and was really terrible to you and you're angry. So maybe I'm channeling that energy, but I feel I'm channeling someone else, someone external to you, a critic, a family member, a best friend, a lover, a wife, a husband. I don't know, but there's someone close to you, or there's some energy around you that is watching this befall you, watching this unfold for you, and they're upset because you didn't have to have it go this way. But if you believe what I believe, when the tower happens, this is meant to be. Some of you have to learn this hard lesson, okay? Some of you were due for it, some of you were overdue for it, whatever. Now, on the other side of what's kind of, again, if we take your center lane here, or your center column, if we take that as sort of like your anchoring point, on the other side, what's the problem? What's the trouble? Conditioning is the problem. Conditioning. And wanting to belief. Thank you. I was like, what is that? Okay. So Two of Wands, right? Two of Wands is actually on its own a wonderful card. Very positive, very, very optimistic, yeah? And I still feel that's there. You know, you've got this person standing on a hillside. He's got that globe under his hand. He's got his two wands covered with big marshmallows. And he's looking out over this valley, out into the distance. And he has hopes, dreams, wishes, like all these bright ideas. And I feel that's there. And I feel, maybe not into the future, but I think up until recently, this has served you. This has propelled you. And it's been good, because I feel whatever you've dreamed about, whatever you've been planning to do, whatever you've been focused on trying to accomplish has been great. Like, you've loved the idea. And to some extent, it's been positive. Or it's been, if it hasn't been positive, it had purpose or potential. That's the word, potential. It had potential. And you were really aligned with this energy, super aligned with this energy of the great next adventure, the next chapter. Where am I going from here? How can I get to my next level? How can I get to my next goal? Very cool to have that. But again, everything is touching everything, right? And that's kind of a creepy phrase the more I say it, but that's kind of how they want me to tell you. Everything is touching everything. So if you're already kind of misled here in the Magician card, as we established earlier, so your dream is misguided. You're cooking with half the ingredients, or, you know, like I said, you've got the wrong proportions. So how can you have a dream or a goal that you're running after if you want to make a 3-tier cake, but you've only bought, you know, 1 package of flour from the market? You know, your dream is to build a 3-tier cake, but you've only got 1 package of flour. You're not going to go very far with that. So that's how that connects. This dreaming, this being focused on what's next, what's in the future, ignores what's coming right around the corner, which is the Tower energy in March, okay? So your dream or your focus on the next thing is possibly an escapist move. I want the next thing because I know this thing right here is about to fall to pieces. So you're sort of preparing yourself, you know? Like, if you know the plane's going down, like, and everybody else is kind of like just doing whatever on the plane, but you know things are about to go to shit, you're reaching, you know, for your life vest before anybody else even knows that the plane is going down. And that's protective, you know? I don't want to be here, or I don't want to feel the brunt of this destruction, so let me get myself ready to make the next move. So in that specific, I think that has a slight benefit to you, but it undermines what happens here. You're not alone in this Tower moment. Other people will be hurt by this, but you have self-interest, Gemini. And that's natural. You're protecting yourself. It's an instinctual thing. I get it. But you're leaving other people in the lurch. You're leaving other people to take the brunt of this. And you're ready to jump out of that plane well before you get the mayday. You see what I mean? It's protective. It's self-preservation. I get it. But is it the decent thing to do? Probably not. Especially if, to some degree, you've had a hand in the Tower moment. that's coming up, okay? Now, the other thing that it touches is the Devil card. And I was saying conditioning, I think I said, right? This is what you do to some extent. Devil card. Card of Capricorn. You might have a Capricorn around you who's significant, but does not have to be. I'm looking dead at this chain situation, being chained to this pedestal. Ooh, girl. Ooh, guy. Is that it? Wow. Okay. So chained to a pedestal. What does that mean? How can I deconstruct that for you in my mind? So chained to a pedestal, chained to an ideal, chained to and adhering to or feeling somehow controlled by or having to live up to a certain standard, right? And I'm getting this in like a social aspect. So some of you socially are tied to a pedestal. You put yourself there, or you put someone else there, or you put some circumstance or some type of clout on a high level. There's something that you wish to obtain for yourself, a social status, a social recognition, money, power, whatever. You idolize it. Or you are idolized in that way. Something like that. You could be the boss. You know what I mean? You could be the CEO. And people kind of look up to you and they're like, oh my God, you're the, you know? But there's this idea of adhering to the pedestal. And that is not good, you know, because the Devil card talks about conditioning and connections and addictions and adherence, right? Capricorn, archetype of the father. So there's a father aspect for some of you out there, maybe adhering to what your father wants. Maybe your father is the one who's influenced you here. You know, and maybe your father has given you a lot of pain in your life, or you guys have had a stressful and hard to manage relationship. I don't know, but there's something about, there's an innate power or an innate sense of leadership and control that we often subscribe or ascribe to fathers or father-like figures, right? Leading with authority, having dominion, having control of money or control of access, things like that. So that's at play here for many of you. And the adherence, the chaining to that ideal is the troublesome part. So maybe in a business sense, maybe in a relationship sense, some of you are kind of going on what your father or father-like or mentor type of person in your life has done in the past. So things are not going good in the business. You see that a business is about to dissolve, or you know, you're not gonna break even on your investment. Cut your losses, move on to the next. Maybe that's something that your father did. Maybe that's something that your father has advised you to do. Or again, some mentor type person or someone that you look up to who is in an authoritative position. Or you are that person and that's what you're advising to other people. I'm grabbing my parachute. I don't know about you, but I think you should grab a parachute and get the hell off this plane. It's not right. I'm sorry to be like this. And I know a lot of people come to tarot and they look for positive messages, or they look to have not so critical reception in what they're seeing. But I'm telling you, this is not correct. You know, the Capricorn card and the Devil card, they do have positive attributes, but how it's showing up today with everything else around it, next to misinformation, next to potential manipulation, next to someone not listening to their intuition, partnering with that. You don't listen to your intuition. The Devil, the downside, the negative aspects, the lower vibrations of the Devil card take hold of the when it's positioned next to the Magician. Manipulation becomes part and parcel in this relationship, becomes commerce, becomes the currency. You tell a lie, they tell a lie. Everybody, one hand washes the other. There's a lot of, you know, shady deals possibly being made. And nobody is going to be held. Nobody is wanting, nobody wants to. Yeah, nobody wants to be held accountable. And everybody's going to do everything in their power to not be held accountable. I've got a parachute, you get a parachute, F all these other people. Or I get a parachute, nobody else gets a parachute, and I'm, throwing a stick of dynamite over my shoulder as I jump out of this plane. There's just this idea of someone or several people are all looking out for themselves. And damn it, none of this is nice. None of this is nice. Even the Two of Wands, which, again, on its own is fabulous. But with everything else around it, boy, this is just self-centered energy. This is just in the interest of self-preservation. And I feel, given everything that's going on around it, everything that we talked about up until this point, there's a lack of accountability on your part, on other people's parts, on everybody's part. I don't know. But there's a lack of accountability. I can't point to any one place and say, okay, Gemini, here's where you need to focus on the healing. Here's where you need to focus on finding the balance. It's all effed up. All of it. Gosh. What's the outcome? Two of Pentacles. So, after you experience this Tower moment, things fall apart, things go upside down, whatever, sudden change. What do we get? I think you or someone else or the situation at hand is sort of reduced to like this very immature, like elementary trying to piece it together, trying to hold it up. Like normally, yes, I can't even tell. Like normally in the Two of Pentacles, if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite deck, you'll see a guy and he's standing up on his tippy toes and he's kind of trying to do this balancing act, similar to what we see here. But look closely. Is that person standing? Or are they sitting on their butt? Like those feet are not well drawn. You know what I mean? So there's like this issue of stability, issue of balancing. There's a concern to have those things taken care of. But, I mean, aside from this being a very cute deck and things are sort of depicted sort of like childishly, I get it even more so here. Like there's an effort to keep it all together, to keep things moving at a certain pace or keep things on a track. And again, we've got that infinity symbol, like I was talking about it earlier on the Magician's hat here. We have this infinity symbol again, and there's an interest to keep that flow going. But the effort might be too little too late, okay? It's new, it's a novice energy, it's a 2, so it's low. So if you have to do damage control, let's say, in a relationship, in a business, in whatever aspect, this is resonating for you potentially. And it's a general reading. If you've gotten this far and it hasn't hit for you, this is not a reading for you. I'm sorry. But if you're here and it kind of makes sense to you, I'm getting that what you are able to put forth or what someone else is able to put forth is just not enough. It might work in the interim, but eventually, this too has got to grow up. Because the Two of Pentacles is totally okay in a traditional interpretation. It's aware of, I need to make a decision, I need to make a move, I need to decide whether to go left, whether to go right, but I'm just going to sit here and juggle and pretend like I don't. That is not going to help you, Gemini. Or, I mean, not that it's not going to help you, but maybe if you stay in this energy, because it is your outcome. So maybe after all of this happens, you're just so damn confused. You don't know which way is up, okay? That's fine. Ride this out then. Because after suffering or dealing with whatever the hell this is, I understand. You might not be able to make heads or tails of a situation. You might not be ready to decide whether you should stay somewhere or go somewhere else, whether you should keep this person in your life or totally step away from them, or you should stay at this job or whatever. So there's a pending energy here. And I think for some of you, that's what you need, especially if this is some crazy mess that just blows your world up, I get it. But I would not want you to hold on to this for too long, is basically what I'm feeling. Don't get comfortable here. Don't think that indecision is a decision. I mean, it technically is, but often indecision is not the correct decision. It might seem like the safest to not, you know, say clearly, I'm going to do this going forward. That sometimes is a action, or the inaction is safe. It's comfortable. But if you continue to make that decision, or you rest too long in that indecision, it bites you in the butt. And like I said, cycles. So staying here might get you involved in this again. Might keep you in this energy longer than you need it to. Okay? Does that make sense? Your overall for the month, 10 of Wands. Cumulative. Or it's a culmination. Cumulative, thank you. It's a culmination of things, a culmination of stress. Wands are about physical activity. They are our passions. They are representing, you know, what we put our soul force into, our soulful, you know, guttural energy into. Swords would be your mental, cups would be your emotional, and pentacles would be your practical and, you know, money and stuff like that. So this is kind of your spiritual self. You've hit the brink on something. You might be so tired. You might be dead on your feet dealing with this whole thing. And if you're not, kudos to you. You've got more energy than the average bear. But I feel this whole situation is taking you to the brink of your spiritual self. And they don't want me to lighten up on that. Your spiritual self. Maybe you didn't think you were a spiritual person, or you didn't really care about that aspect of your life, or you weren't even aware of that aspect of your life. But let me tell you, you have been tried. The universe, the situation at hand, people close to you, whoever's responsible, you, other people, God, somebody tested the waters here, and they tested it good. And you are now aware, oh, that was a test. And damn it, I didn't do too good. Or damn it, it didn't go the way I thought it would. You know? So I think the blessing, and I don't use that word often either, so take that with a grain of salt. But the blessing here is that in terms of your overall energy, that spiritual test is exhausting itself. It's hitting its expiration date very soon. And soon you'll be able to sort of have a breath of relief. Now, that doesn't mean that what happens on the other side of letting those 10 wands fall to the wayside, or putting them down safely, or having them taken off your hands, it doesn't mean that on the other side of that is sunshine and roses. Let me tell you that. But there is this idea of a certain weight will be lifted, and then you get to go on to the next thing. Is it a good thing? Is it positive? Is it relaxing? Is it you know, some type of reprieve? Maybe. Is it more work? Is it more stress? Is it more tumultuous waters? Maybe. I don't know. I do not see that. But whatever it is, as far as it concerns this situation, it's about to wrap it up. Okay? All right, Gemini, that is your reading for March 2019. If you liked it, not in the sense of you liked what I said, but if it resonated and you like that it resonated with you, please hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to my channel and you do want to be subscribed, there is a nice handy dandy button down there called the subscribe button. Hit that, and also hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified of when I do these uploads. You can comment on the video. That would be amazing. I love to see, you know, how it reflects back to you guys, if it does at all. So feel free to use the comment section for that. And of course, share this video across your social media platforms if you want to. That would be cool with me. I will be back in about 3 or 4 weeks when I bring you your April 2019 readings. Until then, I thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.